Hi everybody, welcome to Curly Girl Tarot. I am Char, and today I'm coming to you guys with a presentation instead of a tarot reading. This is basically my idea of how the 7 main chakras connect to the healing and self-development process. I love PowerPoints, so I thought this was a great way to really express the idea that I was having yesterday when I was watching a video by a YouTube channel called The Astral Doorway. I really recommend that you guys look into his videos. He mainly does informative videos on astral projection, but I was specifically watching his videos on the chakras. He has a playlist where he kind of dives deep. They're about an hour and some change long on each chakra, and I was going from the root to the sacral, and I'm currently on the solar plexus chakra, and I kind of had like a light bulb moment where I correlated how the solar plexus chakra and how just the other chakras, period, how they correlate to the self-development process. And, or if you want to call it the dark night of the soul or shadow work. I feel like that's an easier way to explain the self-development process. But I hope I can express this in the best way possible so that everyone understands what I am creating in this crazy brain of mine. But I really wanted to show how the order of the chakras correlates to the process of self-development. And so yeah, just bear with me. This is by me, of course. This is created. It's a really basic PowerPoint, not really bulletin points. Just some pictures for you guys to look at while I'm talking. All right, let's go. Okay, so what the heck is a chakra? I tried to kind of come up with a way to explain what a chakra is. But basically what a chakra is to me is I can compare it to the organs that are within my physical body. So we all have there's different types of bodies within our one body. There's the astral body, there's the physical. You can see that we have a skeletal system, and then we have like a muscle system. So we have a lot of different bodies within our own human body. And for me, the chakras are like our astral body's organs. And for example, if your physical heart is out of balance, your body will start to be affected. So it won't, you might have a clogged artery, and that will cause eventually a heart infarction, which is a heart attack, or you will just, like any type of imbalance with our organs will cause an outer effect with our physical body. And it's the same with the chakras. If our chakras are imbalanced, or if they're not turning in the way that they're supposed to, so if they're not turning clockwise, instead they're turning counterclockwise, we can start to see those effects in our other bodies, so even our physical body. So for example, if my solar plexus is off balance, I might feel a lot of anxiety. I might have especially a lot of anxiety in my gut, and you see how that affects your physical, and it also affects your mental body, because now your nervous system is really anxious, and that affects your willpower as well. So you can kind of see how it's really important for us to not only focus on our physical organs, but focus on our astral organs, which are the chakras. So that is my interpretation of a chakra, just because, I didn't really want to look into anyone else's description. I really wanted to come up with my own. So I hope I could get that point across. Okie dokie. So chakra means wheel in Sanskrit. So that's why I really wanted to put in there, like, okay, so if it's turning, if your chakra is in balance, it's going to kind of go in a counterclockwise. If you think about a clock, it's going to turn the opposite way. But if it's balanced, and if you're giving your chakras what they need, kind of like if you're giving your body what it needs, everything will work as it's supposed to. So we have multiple chakras, but I'm just going to talk about the 7 main chakras here on this video. This is going to be a short video. You can go a lot more in depth with this, but we're going to kind of keep it simple for this one. So it all starts in the root chakra. It goes on to the sacral, the solar plexus, which is yellow, the heart, which is green, the throat chakra, which is blue, the third eye, which is indigo, and then the crown chakra, which is purple. So as we are starting from the base, we are going to start with the root chakra, and it is also called the Muladhara chakra in Sanskrit. So this is, for me, I like to kind of correlate the root chakra with the gates of hell. Just because that's where it starts. That's where your dark night of the soul starts. That's where you see where your fears lie, where your anger is. This is where your primal state is, your survival instinct. So it's kind of like, how do you move from that state of being? Are you living in fear? Are you moving from a primal state that is from love, that is from hate, that is from trauma? So I feel like when we have the dark night of the soul, or we have some type of breakdown, it always starts with the tower moment, and I feel that begins in the root chakra. So to me, spirit opens up the gates of hell, and you start to see how you are creating your own hell in your reality based off your own decisions and how you're moving. And I feel like the root chakra really shows us what thoughts and how our anger really affects our reality. And it's really, I feel like this is the hardest, for me, I feel like this is the hardest part of the self-development process, because you really have to look at yourself in the mirror and see how your choices really cause towers. And this is going to move us over to the sacral chakra. This is the sacral chakra that we're going to talk about. This is the symbol for the sacral chakra, and in Sanskrit you say it Savasthana. And on this specific slide, it's actually spelled wrong. So it's actually SW instead of SV. So my apologies. But as we're moving through the dark night of the soul, and we are shown our primal state, we are shown how we move from a place of survival, and we now have to feel the consequences of our own actions, and really start to have that deep reflection. And we start to look at, okay, well, what in my life, what in my childhood, what in my past life has caused me to be this way. And in the sacral chakra, I feel like I really do compare this chakra with the ocean. And the ocean is also correlated with our emotions. And I feel like once we're in that state of the sacral chakra, you begin to feel your anxieties and your fears and your survival mode, and you traverse on a boat through a wild ocean that again, put you face to face with your emotions and the consequences of how you act. You really see how your entire life has affected your present. And from that deep reflection and being in the womb of the universe and being in the arms of the Divine Mother, you start to feel safe enough to really heal these things. You feel safe enough to really look at these issues in their face. And you begin to kind of say, like, okay, once I can feel my regrets, once I feel my trauma and my disappointments, I can really begin to accept what has been. And once you can begin to accept what has been, now you're going to move to be able to accept what can be. So that's when you start to move up into the solar plexus. So with the root chakra, you're shown how you move from a primal state, from a state of survival, and then you're in your sacral, you start to feel everything. That is the first step. You have to feel it to get through it. So now as we're moving through these lower chakras, we're kind of getting out of that murky, like, you know what I mean, the murky water of the sacral chakra, because if you want to visualize what your sacral, I remember I sat in meditation and I visualized my sacral chakra, and it was this watery cave, and I can hear, like, I don't know if you guys ever watched a movie and heard like water drip in a cave and how that sounds, but that's how I visualize my sacral chakra. And in the cave was this little girl, was my inner child, who was there alone. And you know, me, I came to my inner child as the Divine Mother to basically to save her, to save myself, and to show her that, you know, that I care now, that I'm feeling, that I'm going to feel for her, that she doesn't have to feel the hurt, the trauma, and the pain, that she doesn't have to lash out and move from a state of survival, and that everything is okay. So once you kind of get past the feeling of the dark night of the soul, like I said, you start to look at what can be, you start to look at the future, and that's when it starts to trigger your solar plexus. Alrighty, so now we are on the solar plexus, the Manipura. This is probably one of my favorite chakras next to the throat chakra. The throat chakra is probably my all-time favorite. But as you can see here, I have a sunflower to correlate with the solar plexus, because that's just how I visualize my solar plexus to be, and the energy of the solar plexus, because sunflowers, they do look towards the sun and they receive their vitality from the sun. And that is actually a great practice for your own solar plexus, is to kind of lay out in the sun and allow the energy from the sun to fill your solar plexus. So that's a really good example to do if you are working on balancing out that solar plexus. But as you're moving through the dark night and you get past the murky water of the sacral chakra, you begin to think, okay, what can be after everything that I just felt? What can I do differently to ensure that I don't do the same thing again, and that I create a different outcome? So you begin to tap into your solar plexus, and here is your seat of self. So who are you really when the murky water in the sacral chakra settles? Who are you? And who you truly are begins to push through. And these new routines and these rituals are implemented to start a new path. So these new routines might be, you might be starting an saying affirmations every morning, or having a vision board, or drinking more water, drinking more green tea, feeding your body more vegetables and fruits, and spending time in nature more, or starting a meditation practice, connecting with your guides more. This could be connecting with your family more, but connecting with yourself on a deeper level. So these routines and rituals all require ambition and discipline and the willpower to actually do it. Now, when you're actually implementing these new routines, you might have, well, you most likely will have healing take place in the solar plexus if you have a difficult time motivating yourself and kind of staying consistent. But after your routines and your rituals or your goals begin to feel normal, begin to feel like, that 21 days makes a habit. So once they start to feel like part of you, you can really start to see how these changes are making you feel different, and how these changes are affecting your body and affecting your soul, and also affecting your relationships with people around you, your relationships with food, your relationships with animals, your relationships with the planet, with yourself. So you start to see how these little changes are actually creating like a domino effect in your life. And I feel from that we start to kind of move into the heart chakra, because when you see, okay, everything that I just did, all the work that I put in, all the willpower, I see how it's changing me. And from the light shining on me, I can really start to open up to love, because I'm not in the murky waters of the sacral chakra. I'm not in the depths of my own hell in the root chakra. And I'm no longer blinded by the light in the solar plexus, or my light is no longer off in the solar plexus. So now it's kind of like the third chakra, the third eye chakra. I see now. I can see my path. The light is shining on my path. Now I can continue to walk down this path. But yeah, again, this is when we move into the heart chakra. Okay, this is the heart chakra, anahata. And every time I say it in Sanskrit, it just saying these, you can honestly feel them in your chakras when you say it. And each of these chakras come with specific sounds that you can say. So for the Sakura Chakra, it's so it's very relaxing. There's little sayings that you can do, or little sounds, and you can honestly feel it. But basically, in the heart chakra, once we get to the heart chakra, and you're focusing on your goals, your confidence begins to grow, and your acceptance of self grows. This is important. I feel like I feel like a lot of people focus on forgiveness. But I feel like the first, forgiveness and acceptance are the same thing. It's going to be really hard to kind of forgive a certain aspect or a certain memory or person in your life, but you can accept it for what it is and for what it was and how it benefited you on your path now. So you can either, now you know what you like, now you know what you love, now you know what you need, and how you truly feel loved. So as your acceptance of self grows, you begin to feel loved unconditionally by yourself. I feel like in this society we love ourselves in such a conditioned way. And we judge ourselves in our mind, and we may not notice it, but you know what I mean? Once we start to have the confidence in ourselves, we begin to accept ourselves and love ourselves unconditionally. And you begin to open your heart to spirit, because the prior steps that spirit has shown you in the other chakras have brought you to a place of peace. I feel like peace is held, the feeling of peace is held in the heart chakra. Whenever I am at peace, whenever I feel calm, my heart chakra is relaxed, my chest feels soft. But once you have that sense of peace, once you've reached that healing in your heart chakra, you can then move on to your throat chakra. Okay, so this is the throat chakra, aka Vishuddha. So once you begin to accept yourself, right, your true nature, and how you really are, and what makes you feel confident, what makes you feel like your light is turned on, like your fire is lit, you're going to feel more comfortable to express your true nature, not only to yourself, but to the world. Because again, spirit has used the prior steps to show you how you naturally are underneath all of the baggage. You know, spirit, they put they put water on the fire in your root chakra. They calmed the waters in your sacral chakra. They turned on the sun in your solar plexus. They provided peace and acceptance within your heart chakra. And now you have the confidence to really be authentic to yourself. It's kind of like when we nurture a child in their endeavors. So if they want to be a vet or a doctor or anything like that, so when they feel nurtured, they grow up feeling comfortable to be themselves and to make choices that are authentic to them, because they were given that environment, that accepting environment, to be like, okay, well, we accept you and who you are no matter what. So they really do feel comfortable to be themselves. So it's kind of like, after all you've been through with the root chakra and the sacral chakra, and all the work you put in with your solar plexus, and all the acceptance it took for you to finally love yourself in your heart chakra, like, hell yeah, you're going to speak up and be yourself, because you see that what you have been doing, it works. You see that it works, and you're going to be, this is where you are your own advocate. This is where you're your soul's advocate. You speak up for yourself. So as you can see, as the picture says, speak your truth even if your voice shakes. This is where you're your own advocate. This is why this is one of my favorite chakras, because I find it very, I had a hard time with my throat chakra, even in public speaking or speaking up for myself in any situation. I really had to learn how to be an advocate for myself, and from there you can really start to be advocates for a person who is having a hard time speaking up for themselves. So we kind of like all help each other. But this from you seeing that everything, that your journey with the prior chakras, everything that you have healed and recovered and implemented has worked, you now see. And this moves us on to the third eye. So this is your third eye chakra, Ajna. And from this chakra, you see past the illusions, you see past the fears that you've had. And now that we have ascended into the higher chakras, we can see things from a better view. And now we see the truth of everything. The third eye chakra really assists us in seeing the truth. It's our intuition. This is where our in the third eye, it's the eye is the intuition. It sees and it tells us the truth. When we meet somebody, we can see them for who they really are, energetically, because our third eye is speaking to us. Or this can also, if the third eye is in balance, we can kind of see things through rose-colored glasses. So we can see things as they not as they aren't, and that could kind of jeopardize us and self-sabotage us if this third eye is blocked, because we're going to be making decisions from a place that is not of truth. We're not seeing things clearly, right? So when we are attuned with the third eye chakra, we cannot be swayed, because again, we see things for how it really is. Nothing can trick us. In the news, family, our friends, work, our own egotistical actions, we see through them and we see the real them. If we see things for how they really are, we are now aware. And once we are aware, that moves us over to the crown chakra. But really working on the third eye chakra, coming from the throat, as we are now expressing our true nature with our third eye chakra, we are saying, I no longer see through a veil. I see clearly now. From everything that I have been through with the past chakras and healing them, I now see through the illusions and the fears. You can no longer trick me, not even myself. I can no longer trick myself. My mind can no longer trick me, because I am connected to my third eye. That chakra is moving in a clockwise way. Alrighty, this is the crown chakra. We're now at the top of the chakras. This one I always kind of say, I'm still working on saying this one, but it is the Sahasrara chakra. So if I say any of these incorrectly, help a girl out, help me say these right. Don't attack me. But yeah, so as we are now aware, we now have seen the truth in the third eye. We can see past the illusions. We are now aware. This is where we say, I know. The crown chakra is now fully aware of the journey it looks back at. So as we look down at the lower chakras and the journey that we came from, we are now fully aware of what we learned. We now have wisdom, and we can use that wisdom that we learned prior to the journey ahead. And this could be with any dark night of the soul. You're going to have multiple towers in your life. You're going to have multiple dark night of the souls, because we are always going to be learning, and life is not linear. Life is left, right, up and down and spiral. It's everywhere. So, and you're always going to be learning. You never know everything. The crown chakra can always know more. But basically, you now have acquired the clarity necessary to move on a path that better benefits who you are, and incorporate what you have learned down your path. And I kind of feel the order of the chakras is how someone masters healing. Just like I said, healing is a constant process, and the chakras really assist us in clearing out blockages and energy, and they work to turn their wheels in a more balanced way, but they also show us the steps in the healing process. So once we reach this, the crown chakra, we are now in a way ascended. We are now in a way in alignment. And I just want to say, the healing process changes you on a molecular level. and reprograms your brain to do differently once you obtain full awareness. So full awareness is once it hits that crown chakra, and now you're like, holy shit. Like, I see your brain is completely fucking reprogrammed, and you see differently now. Like, you just rewired your own brain. This is like Doctor Strange type shit when he has cellular reconstruction, through his spiritual work, through his energetic work, and how he just healed himself. This is basically the process that Doctor Strange went through in order to receive the powers that he had. He had to break past his own mental prison in order to achieve this level of enlightenment. And again, it's like, it's like, yes, in one situation you are enlightened, you are ascended, but guess what? You're gonna have another situation down the road that's gonna hit you that's gonna be another dark night of the soul, and you're gonna go through this process many, many times. So just because you make it through one process and you're like, oh, like I see all, you're gonna go through this process once again, which is okay. Like, that's what it is. It's the up and down. If you want to think about the affinity sign or the yin and yang, it's a constant move of energy, but everything is moving in a flow that is balanced. And I feel like once you reach the crown chakra, that is when you have that shift in perspective. Because for me, a shift in perspective is the most important mental changes that you can have, because once you break out of that prison and that mental prison, and you shift your perspective, like, it's over for them. You know what I mean? For those who keep us in the mental prison, like, it's over for them, because they tried to do everything that they could to keep you in this mental prison. But once you break out of it, once you have that shift in perspective, you see the light, you see the truth. It's going to be so hard for you. I know that you guys have been through this, your first dark night of the soul, when you see everything for how it really is. You see the media, you see the government, you see your friends and family, you see yourself for how it really is with your third eye, and it's hard for you to see it any differently, because you have now rewired your brain to know differently. And yeah, I just feel like the shift in perspective is like that end result. And then from your shift in perspective, you start all over again, in whatever situation the universe believes that you need to learn next. All right, guys, I hope that you appreciated that presentation. Again, like, we could have gotten a little deeper into it, but this was really quick. We're already at almost 33 minutes. So yeah, thank you, and like and comment. I'll be making more of these videos as I kind of have these sparks of basically these light bulbs go off in my brain, and I have these epiphanies. But I will definitely start doing these more, because I love a PowerPoint. I love a lecture. That's just me. If I could do a TED Talk, I would absolutely love that. But yeah, if you guys want to know about anything, or for me to make a PowerPoint about something and kind of go more in depth even on this specific PowerPoint, we can definitely do that. But thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you spending this 33 minutes with me. So thank you. Bye.